there is something that I want to talk about. Someone had sent me something. I want to be absolutely clear. This is what I'm about to talk about is a very, very good thing. It simply is not exactly what a lot of people are celebrating right now. Here we have Jeff Bezos. It says, Bernie Sanders praises Jeff Bezos on Amazon $15 minimum wage. This is good. This is good. It's good that they're doing $15 minimum wage. You should have seen the video segment when they're telling all the employees that they're suddenly going to be getting a massive pay raise. This is a very good thing. How could this not be a good thing? The thing is, I did a show not that long ago about charity, how much charity is done in the United States. And if charity was going to save us, we would be in a very different country right now. But we're not. If we are going to rely upon the kindness of strangers in order to be able to save us, then we're screwed. Because individuals may, from time to time, decide to do, quote unquote, the right thing. I should pay people a living wage. I should be able to pay for housing. I should be able to alleviate poverty. I should be able to do all these things. And let's say this person forever always has that ideology in mind and forever and always will be able to work towards those things up until the day they die. And maybe it's a very long life. But what happens when they die? Now we're relying upon the kindness of some other stranger. If you're always counting on someone else to be able to do the right thing, then it's feast or famine. And so when we have this, Jeff Bezos is willing to pay a $15 minimum wage. There's a couple of things that we have to be able to remind ourselves right off the top. First off, a $15 minimum wage is not exactly a living wage. It is in some places. It's not in others. For everyone that's fighting for $15 in minimum wage, that's a step in the right direction, but it doesn't get us where we need to go. You cannot simply do a cross-the-board price wage for everyone across the country. It's going to have to at least be localized. $15 an hour works here as a livable wage, but over here it's going to have to be $23. Over here it has to be $18.50. It really depends upon where you are. So that's number one. It's a good thing. Again, Jeff Bezos is, out of the kindness of his heart, whatever that means, is giving everyone a pay raise. But across the board, it's going to be better for some than it is for others because of cost of living from place to place. The other thing, it is absurd that the taxpayers of this country have to subsidize the wealthiest person on earth. Okay, so obviously, whether it be Bernie Sanders or whether it be anyone else who's been railing against Jeff Bezos, hoarding all this wealth. What is it, like 1.2, 1.5, 1 point, it blows my mind. But either way, we're talking about how he accumulates all this wealth, but then, unfortunately, doesn't do the right thing with it, doesn't give back to the community, doesn't make sure that his employees earn enough on his salary, the salaries that he gives out, to be able to afford things like shelter and food and transportation and health care. So they go on government assistance. And then we talk about the taxpayers are picking up the balance. Anyone who understands MMT understands that is not the proper narrative. If you think about taxpayer money funding X, Y, and Z, you have already lost the battle, and you are certainly losing the war. Because even if you win hearts and minds with that argument, now you have to make that argument consistently across the board. It's functionally incorrect to say that taxpayer dollars are funding federal spending at the federal level. So we're not subsidizing them, but our public money and our public resources are subsidizing them. We have to be able to get it right so that we can avoid well, I don't want my money going towards it. No, it's not your money. The other thing is that if we're relying on the kindness of strangers, we will lose, ultimately. When that stranger turns on us, when that stranger decides he can no longer do it, when his circumstances or her circumstances changes and they can't afford it anymore, we codify it into law at the federal level with a federal job guarantee. Anyone who wants a job gets a job, federally funded and locally administered, and it will have a national minimum wage. And because it's done at the national level and they can target spending unlike anyone else, they can say in Tucson, Arizona, it's this wage, and in Manhattan, New York, it's this wage, and in Burlington, Vermont, it's that wage. So no matter where you are, you will always be guaranteed a job, and you will always be guaranteed a livable wage. And that's federal law. We, the people. As long as we're paying attention, as long as we're engaged, we will win.